Okay, folks, I'm a wee bit sorry it's a wee bit late. We're still in the throes of unpacking and there's just so much going on. But let's turn to this passage, and we are now into Joseph and Mary. And again, it's worth taking our time looking at this because we're kind of so familiar with the story that we kind of skim it a lot. So we're going to look at verse 26. In the 6th month of Elizabeth's pregnancy, God sent the angel Gabriel to Nazareth, a town in Galilee. And verse 27, to a virgin pledged to be married to a man named Joseph, a descendant of David. The virgin's name was Mary. So the 6th month. Now the key from what we saw last time is that Zechariah and Elizabeth, they were silent about their pregnancy. Well, Zechariah had to be silent and Elizabeth didn't tell anyone. But now there's an angel, the same angel, it's the angel Gabriel again. Incidentally, did you know, I can't remember if I mentioned this, that it's supposed to have been the angel Gabriel, according to Muslims who say, spoke to Muhammad. I don't think he did, obviously, but this Gabriel's given a commission. And from a worldly point of view, the message that he must deliver is even more unbelievable. So he's basically saying, this moment for which all the preceding generations have waited, all the godly have waited, has finally arrived. The Messiah is about to appear, and he's going to appear by means of conception and birth, which would have been just extraordinary. Now, there's a big difference as well here. Whereas Zechariah was in the temple, in the inner sanctuary, as one of you pointed out, by the way, thank you. When he was in the inner sanctuary, not the Holy of Holies, he was there. I mean, he was a priest. Elizabeth belonged to the same Levitical line. Jerusalem is the capital. But this birth is announced to a young girl, almost certainly a teenage girl. She was engaged, and you could be engaged as young as 12. We don't know. Luke doesn't tell us what her age was, but she certainly would have been a young girl in a village that's so obscure that Luke assumes that people won't know where it is. So it's a bit like if I said, you know, I've been in Sydney or I've been in Melbourne or whatever. But if I said somewhere like, is it Wagga Wagga or Wagga Wagga or something, or just a small tiny place in northern New South Wales or in Queensland or whatever, we have to say this is where it is. We would explain, and that's Nazareth, small village town about 50 miles north of Jerusalem. Not Rome, not Jerusalem, and I think that's significant. She's described as a virgin. The word is Parthenos rather, a young unmarried girl. If there's any doubt about being a virgin, you go across to verse 34. How will this be since I am a virgin? You know, she's basically, when they were engaged, it's not like contemporary times where you don't even need engagement. People had sexual intercourse. They didn't. So this pledge to be married, it could be up to 1 year. And it did involve that there would be no sex before marriage. The initial stage of engagement, or the betrothal, involved a formal witnessed agreement to marry and a financial exchange of a bride price. We know the girl's name is Mariam, or Mary, and there are other Marys, of course, the mother of John Mark, Mary of Bethany, the mother of James and Joseph, who seems to be the wife of Clopas, and Mary Magdalene. Very popular name, Mary, still is. And Joseph, a descendant of David. And I think this is named for a reason, because the Messiah had to be descended from David. Mary has connections with the Levitical tribe, obviously. But Joseph is a descendant of David, and although he's not literally the father, he's the adoptive father, and that would count. So the overall message is very simple. This is something that seems to be very obscure. Something appears to the very obscure, not in a great thing. Something that's fulfilling biblical prophecy. Nazareth mentioned several times. And then maybe this thought crosses my mind as well. Gabriel had a great message to take. But we've got a greater one. We can talk about Messiah who's been and who's lived and who's taught and who's worked miracles and who's died and who's ascended and who's coming back. That's the message we've been given to share. So let's make sure we do it. All right. See you tomorrow. Bye.